Hey there, tonight we're traveling back to 2630 BCE on the outskirts of Memphis. Picture yourself trudging through scorching sand, each grain burning like hot iron filings in your straw sandals. The distant chiseling sounds grow louder. Welcome to the most insane construction site in human history. Before you settle in, hit that like button, but only if you genuinely enjoy pyramid stories. Drop a comment with your city and current weather too. Let's see which night owls are listening from around the world. Now dim those lights, turn on a fan for background noise, and let's begin tonight's tale. New recruit? Hold this copper chisel properly. The overseer's tool nearly hits your knee. You spot a one-eyed old man whittling something in the shadows. Amos, he says without looking up. 30 flood seasons at this damned site. At the center lies a massive square foundation, baking like a sunburnt cake. This is Pharaoh's eternal resting place? You whisper. Suddenly the old man pulls you down, producing a limestone shard covered in symbols. Quiet. Look what Imhotep drew last night. The stone fragment clearly shows 6 stacked blocks topped with a star. A horn sounds as the overseer shouts, "Royal decree. New design. We're building a stairway to the stars?" The site erupts in chaos. Perhaps this mad idea, like the scarab amulet Amos is carving, will roll something extraordinary through the sands of time. The uproar lasts until stars blanket the sky. Just as debates about this sacrilegious design peak, torch-bearing guards appear. Silence. Make way for Imhotep. Historical note: major Egyptian projects required divine pardon night rituals where celestial alignments determined auspicious dates. In the firelight, the leopard skin-clad architect picks up your trampled blueprint. Ah, a footprint, he muses, tracing the smudge. Perfect, we'll need ventilation here anyway. Amos gasps. This master builder treats accidents as divine inspiration. You. Imhotep thrusts a golden cubit rod into your hands. Join the survey team tomorrow. You notice strange markings on the ruler. His sacred cubit, Amos whispers. A finger width longer than standard. Obscure fact: archaeologists found Imhotep's modified tools achieved 0.3 mm precision, setting new construction standards. In the pre-dawn glow, you watch Imhotep sketch new guidelines. His shadow stretches endlessly like those soon-to-rise steps reaching for the still slumbering stars. A breathless hush falls as the cornerstone settles perfectly into its limestone socket. Amos grins, gold teeth glinting. See? The sacred cubit's magic. Then, crack. The third-tier block tilts dangerously. Halt! Screams the overseer as support beams groan. Lazy quarryman. Amos shoves you toward the supply shed. Get the pivot stones. When you return, Imhotep stands calmly measuring the angle with his rod as if this were a math problem, not disaster. Raise the southwest corner by half-digit, he orders. As the stone stabilizes, the overseer collapses panting. Imhotep simply pats the block. Henceforth, triple-check every stone. Amos mutters about making quarry teams taste their own shoddy work. Perhaps fear, as the ancients said, truly is the strictest foreman. At dawn, a new rhythm echoes across the site, chiseling punctuated by the overseer's raspy counts. Flatness check, first round. You crouch at the quarry edge testing limestone with Nile water. Hair's breadth left tilt, Amos declares, smacking your head. Mark the flaw. Obscure detail: workers carved hieroglyphic initials on stone undersides, an ancient QA system. Suddenly, commotion at the ramp. A freckled boy soaks his loincloth, twisting it into a brake rope for a stuck sled. Genius. Amos laughs, adding his own garment. Historical footnote: these improvised brakes became standard, later documented as 3 control ropes per slope. That night, the boy sits with Imhotep under moonlight, pointing at diagrams while Amos hands you olives. Pyramids get built half by God's wisdom, half by hungry boys' bright ideas. 4 millennia later, scholars will debate ramp techniques, never knowing history turned on a teenager's loincloth. The third full moon of the Nile flood season finds all workers gathered on the unfinished fourth tier. Amos presses a wax tablet carved with strange symbols into your palm. "Shut your mouth but keep eyes wide open," he whispers. "Tonight we align the celestial ladder." Historical note: while Egyptian structures often aligned with Sirius or Orion, the step pyramid pioneered dynamic astronomical calibration. Imhotep stands at the northern edge, his bronze instrument pointing to the brightest star. Kaka, now called Breakmaster, adjusts plumb lines when Amos yanks you down. Listen. The wind carries priestly chants from below. And something else. The grinding sound of 12 workers rotating a cornerstone according to star positions. "We're not building a tomb," Amos murmurs through mint-scented breath. "We're hammering a nail for Pharaoh's soul to climb the sky." Obscure fact: laser scans reveal some core blocks were designed to shift slightly, compensating for ground settlement. When the Big Dipper reaches its mark, Imhotep raises his leopard head staff. A perfect click echoes as the stone settles. Kaka's cheer gets muffled by Amos's muddy hand. Moonlight flows like quicksilver over limestone. The unnamed builders knew true eternity lies not in a stone's weight, but in its silent conversation with the stars. Noon turns the ramp blinding white, a dying serpent slumped against the pyramid. At 1/3 height, Amos grabs your shoulder. Cracks. A jagged fissure splits the mud brick slope. The warning gong sounds as you leap onto scaffolding. Behind you, thunderous collapse, 3 months' labor disintegrates. Kaka emerges coughing, arms full of ropes. I warned about cross supports. His protest drowns in Imhotep's sudden applause. Perfect demonstration, the architect smiles. Now we know weight limits. From the wreckage, wine-dark stains web the exposed pyramid surface. Last flood season's tests, Amos wipes sweat. 30 jars sacrificed. Sunset stretches your shadows across the unfinished 6th tier. For a breathless moment, the pyramid itself seems to shrug off its mortal scaffolding. Mix honey with sand. Amos kicks the mortar vat as you prepare final 6th tier plaster. Kaka checks every rope like a paranoid meerkat. Since the ramp collapse, altitude work became deadly sport. Caravan bells announce the last mica shipment. Grind it for glitter, the overseer orders, picking gold flakes from his nails, yesterday's mural work souvenirs. Crash. Ceramic shards litter the northwest corner, shattered ritual vessels. Remake these in alabaster, Imhotep examines lotus-painted fragments. Clay insults the heavens. Kaka pokes your ribs, they're putting a bull's eye gem up top to catch God's attention. His tale ends when Amos coughs, staring at the unsealed apex where starlight pools in his calloused palm. The night before consecration, an eerie quiet blankets the site. Perched on the last ramp segment, you watch moonlight drape the pyramid in blue silk. Amos produces 3 clay cups. Stole priests date wine. Final night deserves godly drinks. The syrupy liquor makes Kaka cough tears. Torches flare, Imhotep's scribes measure shadows. They're carving completion texts, Amos squints. None will bear our names. Wind makes remnant canvas sigh. You notice tiny figures carved in hidden spots, worker graffiti with crude "so-and-so was here" captions. Kaka jumps up, sketching a lopsided scarab at the highest reachable point. Dawn's first light touches the apex as Amos hurls his empty cup down the slope. The shattering rings strangely final, like some invisible barrier breaking. Pharaoh's golden procession arrives at noon, but all eyes fix on the summit. The newly placed capstone glares like a sun fragment. You squint. Where's Kaka? Amos drags you behind altars to find the soot-faced boy stuffing a hidden niche with a crooked model, slanted ramp, lopsided pyramid, even misshapen worker figurines. Someone must remember truth, he mutters, wiping his nose. As priests chant, you spot Imhotep's cloak, revealing a frayed scroll, the rejected seven-tier design. Amos thrusts figs into your hands, eat now. Once they start blathering about eternity, supper's forgotten. When Pharaoh ascends the turquoise steps, the pyramid holds its breath. 4 millennia later, scholars will debate its meaning, never knowing 3 fruit pits and honest memories hide in an unrecorded crevice. The victory feast serves beer flecked with real gold. Drunk Amos carves crude graffiti, a leopard-hatted stickman and 3 laborers. Puss. Kaka waves from behind tapestries with stolen honey cake. By the material yard, his miniature pyramid flickers with dying torchlight. Looks just like the glowing real thing. Imhotep's scribes arrive for final inventory. Firelight dances across the architect's exhausted face as his golden cubit slips unnoticed from his belt. Dawn stains the desert blue-gray when you collapse onto lime sacks. Kaka's model still flickers as Amos snores. In your dream, 4 millennia hence, someone brushes sand off a tiny stone replica. On the feast's 3rd day, Kaka leads you to the treasury, a shed full of construction oddities. Amos pokes limestone bird tracks, sacred ibises loved wet mortar. Archaeologists confirmed ancient avian footprints at Giza, proving birds interacted with fresh materials. Your fingers brush a graffiti-covered shard. Some quarryman's love poem, Amos chuckles before noticing Imhotep's scribe behind you. The stern man surprises everyone by retrieving a blue-glazed bowl fragment. 3rd Dynasty masons buried these to appease construction spirits. He presses it into your hand. Keep it. This camp vanishes tomorrow. That night, you discover a tiny scarab etched on the bowl's base, proof that history's truest stories hide in official records' discarded margins. During final packing, Amos gifts you a cloth bundle, gold-flecked mortar, rope-imprinted clay tablets, a worn chisel. Builder's inheritance, he says, pointing at charred seeds in the mortar. From when our shed burned. Modern X-rays reveal carbonized plant fibers in pyramid stones, likely accidental additives or fire remnants. Kaka arrives clutching a clay figurine, a spot on Imhotep caricature. Found it in the mold pile, he whispers. They say he spent last night alone inside. You all turn toward the blinding white monument. Now it just looks like any other mountain, as if the sweat, innovations, and near disasters were merely dust on eternity's skin. At dawn, you bury the blue bowl in the pyramid's western shadow. Kaka adds his figurine, while Amos hangs his leather apron on a scaffold stump. Let this greet whoever uncovers us. Excavations reveal workers often cached tools for future projects. Migrating ibises fly over the summit as you depart. The wind makes the abandoned apron flap like some invisible mason still tapping at eternity's door. 3 Nile floods later, Memphis Market echoes with your old worksite nickname. Kaka, now sporting a forehead scar, shows a perfected pyramid model for Amos. The old mason vanished building another tomb. When Imhotep's procession passes, your raised model goes unnoticed. Only later do you find a dried fig leaf stuck beneath it, needle-etched with a leopard head. A decade later, you bring your son to the now sacred pyramid. He spots mica flakes you once embedded, still glittering in mortar seams. Kaka arrives with his family. You share silent smiles as priests extol divine engineering. At sunset, you both linger near the west face, where a blue bowl and clay figurine might still sleep beneath the sands. The stars soften the pyramid's edges, like time blurring all sharp memories. Those chisel chinks, rope creaks, and workers' laughter dissolve into the desert's steady breath. Perhaps Amos sips stolen wine in some unfinished tomb. Maybe Imhotep's leopard skin still glows in temple art. And somewhere, Kaka's lopsided scarab carving waits in forgotten stone. Sleep now. Let 4 millennia of sand gently blanket your dreams. Come dawn, fresh ibis tracks will grace the pyramid's first step just as they did when the world was young. The end. Good night.